everybody. This is Bobby Mills, 1,000-yard guy on End Zone Online for the GrandIslandIndependent.com. Zach Mayhew, producer engineer behind the cameras. Today we're taking the show on the road to Giltner, and we're going to visit with Giltner head coach Jeff Ashby. Welcome, Coach.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You bet. My thrill. Let's just talk about Jeff Ashby a little bit today, if we can. Do you have any?
Well, I'm back to where I started, where I graduated. So
isn't that great?
It's nice to be back here.
You weren't even born in Nebraska, were you? You were born in California, I understand.
Yep. My brother and I were both born in California, and then my parents moved back to Nebraska.
I see. And you went to Giltner, and did you graduate from here in '82? Is that correct?
Yes.
I'm going to ask you this, and you can be honest with me, because if you were good, tell me you were good, because I'd brag about it. Were you a good football player in high school? What position did you play first of all?
I played all positions on offense, but linebacker on defense. So I kid Drew out all the time. Said if I had your size, I'd been retired from the NFL by now.
Well, yeah, and I can, and it looks like to me you could play today. I'm not going to guess your age, but you might have hit the 5-0 here. I don't know, but you look like you could still play today. So was defense your favorite position then?
Absolutely.
All right, and we'll get to this later anyway, but when you graduated from University of Nebraska down in Lincoln, you told me that you went to senior high and studied, for a year under Kenny Fisher, like helped coach?
Yes, yep.
How was that?
Well, it was, for me, I think I had probably the best experience any coach could get coming out of college, because I actually did my student coaching under Jack Gugemoss at Aurora. And then the next year I get a phone call from Coach Fisher. He heard that I was looking for a job, and so he got a hold of me. And so my first 2 years of coaching experience really was probably the two best coaches in the state of Nebraska. And you couldn't learn from, and they're completely opposites type of people. I've never met a smarter football coach than Ken Fisher. I mean, he saw things that just make your head spin, and I'm trying to watch what he's watching. And Jack Gugemoss is probably one of the coaches that I've never seen a coach get as much out of a player as he did. He could get anything out of those kids. I mean, he worked with guys that weren't real talented, but boy, he got them to play. So I've got both the best ends there.
I don't know how you could learn from anybody any better than those two guys. Gooey's a very innovative guy in his day, and probably still is. So your first coaching gig was at Polk Ordville, is that correct?
Yes, my first head coaching job was at Polk Ordville, and
tell me about that. That those were some great years down there. I made more trips to Polk and Ordville back in the day than I did to Grand Island. Stayed in Grand Island.
Yeah, it's funny you mention that, because the reason I got the job, superintendent told me, was because Coach Fisher made a phone call for me, and so they decided to hire me, because it was kind of nerve-wracking going in there, because they were expecting great things that first year, because I had probably the best running back in Nebraska, Dale Van Housen, and then quarterback Steve Hendricks, who ended up playing tight end at the Air Force Academy. So, there was high expectations coming into that place.
So you took the gig when Dale was what year? A senior?
Senior. Both those guys are seniors.
I'm asked all the time when I'm out hearing about, here and there about in football games or whatever, who was the best running back I've ever seen in my life. And of course you can't pinpoint one. But the two names I always mention are Dale Van Housen and Darwin Snyder from Winnebago. I don't think I've ever seen a back or just an athlete like Dale Van Housen. I mean, is he at the top of your list for just pure athlete that you've ever coached, or have there been others?
Oh, there's been some others. I mean, Dale was pretty special, and in the same year, Steve Hendricks was a senior, and he was probably the overall the best athlete, because he could do anything. He was 6'4", 220 or 6'6", 220, and he was our quarterback at the time. And with Dale's speed, I tell people today that if I ran the offense back then that I run now,
oh my goodness,
it'd been unstoppable, because Dale's 4.4 speed, and Steve could throw the ball 80 yards in the air, and so
that's a football field, folks.
Yeah, but back then it was the fullback, and the kind of the Ken Fisher type offense, and so I had an I back and a fullback both run for over 1,000 yards, and Dale close to 3,000, and he could have had whatever we let him run for. He didn't get to play in a lot of the games because we were so far ahead, or 45-point rule back
At the
then.
half, right.
Right.
I saw him run out of bounds a few times on purpose to give somebody else a shot to score a touchdown. That's how good that guy was. So, yeah, I mean, those were great years there, no doubt about it. And then you took a little hiatus, or did you go straight to Harvard High School from Polk-Cordville?
I went back to Grand Island
Okay.
Senior High.
And
Yeah,
who
as an
coached?
assistant.
Who was coaching there? I can't recall.
Coach Ermacher was the head
Okay.
coach that year.
Good defensive guy.
Yeah.
He was with Fisher all those years.
You bet.
And then you took the job at Harvard.
Yep.
And when that was unlike Polk-Cordville, I know that, because they hadn't been very good before you came there. And what were the facilities like?
Oh, they had really nice facilities.
I
It
always-
wasn't too bad, but it's just the makeup of the situations there it was a little bit more difficult. The support wasn't there like it was at a lot of other schools, so it was a little bit more difficult to win there.
But you turned them into a winner. I don't know how many years you took them to the playoffs. Was it 3 maybe? Or?
Yeah, we went
3
I
or
believe
4?
it was 3 years
Okay.
to the playoffs, and we got a district championship in there. So it was good. We had some good kids come through there at that time. It was good.
Colton Kaler?
Colton Kaler, who ended up
Yeah.
playing at Nebraska,
Yeah.
who walked on at Nebraska, and he did okay. He got a safety against Baylor, and
Yep.
made some tackles, so he got a taste of that.
So then, after that, we're right to the present here. You came to Giltner in 2007, is it?
Yes.
And this is your 9th year here. So I want to tell you that Jeff Ashby's career record is, I think I'm fairly close, 180 wins and 62 losses. If you don't have a calculator on you, 3/4 of the time this man takes the field, his teams win. There's not too many that have a better winning percentage than that I know of. So when you arrived at Giltner, I don't think this team was very good. As far as I can remember, they might have been 4-20 in the past 4 years when you took it over. I can't remember Giltner not being good, except back in a couple years after. We'll touch on that. You were in high school, but
Yeah, they're in the 90s. They had kind of a drought. I think they had 10 out of 11 seasons they had losing seasons and stuff. And so it was kind of, when I was coaching at Polk-Cordville, we had to play Giltner, and they were down quite a bit.
Yeah.
They had a couple good years in there when Nate Nauman was their quarterback, and
Yes.
he was difficult to defend. So that was in the early 90s.
Yes.
So.
and nobody knew what he looked like on the track because that's all he saw was his behind in the 800 and the sprints like that. So tell me, when you were in high school here, ever had aspirations of being a head coach?
Yeah.
Did you really?
Well, I don't know about a head coach. I had aspirations of going to college and be a coach at college
I
level.
see.
Yeah.
And then
you get your job, and then you get married, and you have a couple kids,
Sure.
and so you have to make some money, and that graduate assistant thing doesn't pay very well.
it doesn't pay very.
A lot of ramen noodles and stuff like that. So you got to come right out of college and do that, or while you're in college.
You've won one runner-up, I remember, and then of course that 2012 team was something else. But in 2000, did Drew Ott and Logan Rath graduate in 2011? Is that correct?
They graduated in 2012. Yeah, the 2011 was their last year.
Okay,
of playing.
and then I mean, these are how many 8-man schools have Division I recruits? And was it the year before your championship that Drew Ott and Logan Rath were here? Is that correct, or were they here?
The year before we won the state championship, they had graduated. We had lost a house 3 years in a row. 2009 we lost to them in the state championship, and then the next year our only
remember
loss
House.
was semifinals, and in 2011 the quarterfinals they got us.
I think you could have won that
26-20.
Howes game, Coach. I really do.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It was tough. It's just both teams are really tough, and if they're not around, Giltner might have been on a 3-year run there,
Yep.
but they kind of.
Well, that's what
Brandon
Dave's
was
glory years up there. The year after those two Division I recruits graduated, what was your mindset? I want to touch on something here because I've always called you the Einstein of 8-man football because you're innovative. The year after those two graduated, how many kids did you have coming back with starting experience?
We graduated those two in Trevor Poppin. Probably had 4 or 5 starters.
So it wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad. No, we had good guys coming.
Was that the year that you cooked up the deal about the little tiny forward pass? Is that, what do you call that? I mean, Finley was Finley.
Jake.
Yeah, Randy's boy. I put Randy once in an article, and I could have killed myself. But was that 2012?
Yeah, Jake was our quarterback in 2012 and 2011.
And did he do the little forward thing, or was that later? I'm talking about the little pitch.
The little pitch pass. That was actually developed by, as far as I know, Bob Stitt. You know, when he was out of Colorado.
Where did you dig that up?
Actually, I started.
Did you do it before?
No, but about 2008 we started. 2008, 2009 we started doing that. We got that Dana Holgerson at West Virginia. We started that. He started doing that, but he got it from Bob Stitt, and so
Wow.
it's kind of one of the deals. You just copycat league type thing, and we started running offense that those guys were running, and so it just his philosophy was, before you hand it off on a jet sweep. Well, if you pitch it, it's an incomplete. It's not a fumble.
It makes good sense. But
right.
when I was a kid, back in the covered wagon days and leather helmets, you couldn't. That was an illegal pass. You couldn't. It was a forward lateral. You couldn't do it if it was not overhand. Mm-hmm. But the first game I came to Giltner, when that was implemented, when Finley was here, I think, I put half of them down as rushes, and Dale Miller from the Independent was keeping stats upstairs in your press box, and he said, and he's a genius, mathematical genius, and I thought I was a good stat keeper, and he said, Bob, those are forward passes, and that went on to a season where Finley never had an incompletion. Is that correct?
Interception.
Yep. He didn't have many incompletions.
Yeah.
What, 70%? And no interceptions in 364 throws. Is that right, or something like that?
Close 400. Yeah.
I just can't picture that. But how much work did that take? Because I couldn't even see the handoff. I couldn't even see the little pitch sometimes. I can imagine what a linebacker would think.
Well, it took a lot of timing, because at the same time that we were pitching the ball, we were pulling a backside guard. So
I know that is just like
try to cover that up and with the pulling guard and stuff like that. So it took a little bit. It takes a little bit. And like this year, we're not real good at it. Our timing's off, and we got to keep working at it, because we're not got the timing down like we have in the past. So. And we need to run it more than we do. So. Well,
I think, like, Fred Petito from Millard North, he told me how many thousands of times they go through their reps with that pitch on the sweep of the quarterback and the option thing. Does it take as many for that? It has to. I mean, you got to almost have a summer where you just work until you're sick and tired of it.
Yeah, we work on it, and when we go to 7-on-7 tournaments during the summer, you can't run those. You can't throw anything behind the line of scrimmage. So, there's no blocking or anything like that. Yeah. So you can't throw screen passes. And our quick screens are, is basically like somebody's sweep play. It'd be like Hal's sweep play. They practice it over and over and over. We practice our quick screens over and over and over. So,
is that what you call them?
That one's not. That
Okay.
one's not a quick. That's just our jet sweep. And but we throw a lot of quick screens.
Well, I want to make something clear about Finley. I mean, you can back me up, I'm sure. All of these passes weren't those little short passes. This kid could hit anybody downfield. I don't know what percentage of them were downfield, but this kid was a good thrower, and I don't know whether he was as accurate as Nate Most was, but he could throw. So all these weren't all short passes either. I've had that. Well, anybody can. No, you can't.
No, we went down to when we went down to Arkansas that summer when Jake was going to be a senior. We went down to the big, huge 7-on-7 tournament, and
I remember that.
We played 10 games down there, and he didn't throw an interception down there against some of the best athletes you'll see. I mean, like one of the quarterbacks now is a starting quarterback at Arkansas, that Allen kid.
Oh my goodness!
So we saw a lot of great talent down there, and one's in the pros right now. The receivers in the pros. Kid that played for Missouri, Beckham.
What kind of exposure was that?
Yeah, there was some great talent down there. It was fun to watch, and he got through that whole thing without an interception. So he was special. His big asset was that he got rid of the football. He didn't hold on to the football. Jake didn't have a great arm, but he knew probably before the ball was snapped where he was going with the ball, and that's huge, and that's what we're trying to get our quarterback this year to get to. Get rid of the football. He's got a decent arm, but he's holding on to the ball right now, and
He's a sophomore too,
Yeah, and that's why Jake didn't have any interceptions. He got lucky on a couple of them.
Well, sure.
But it's because he got rid of the ball so fast.
Yeah, I'm so impressed with Kearney Catholic's quarterback, this young Masker kid that's a sophomore. 2 seconds back, and if he's not rushed, it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes a difference. You can't hardly defense anything like that if you're rushing. So do you coach both offense and defense here at Giltner, or is your specialty defense? It seems like it's offense.
Yeah, well, it started off with offense, and then a few years ago, I turned over the offense to Matt Drew, my assistant coach, because I felt I needed to spend a little bit more time on the defensive side of the ball, to try to win a championship and stuff. So I thought we concentrated so much on offense, we were kind of giving up a little bit on the defense side of the ball, not practicing and working hard enough. So while he was working offense, I could work with the younger kids on the scout team and running our defense and things like that. So kind of give that up to Matt. But yeah, I have input all the time. We talk all the time. We got a great working relationship. If there's some time during the game that I want to run, I'll tell Matt and he'll run it and stuff like that. So I kind of oversee both.
How long has Matt been here?
Matt came here in 2007, same year I got here.
That's what I
so
thought.
We've been together since he was a rookie teacher and coach, and he was head basketball here. He is head basketball right now. So.
Right, good man. I know that. And anybody else help out with you that we need to spotlight on your staff? You have any grads come back and help in the summer once in a while?
We've had, over the years, we had Jake Harmon come back and help us for a couple of years, and he farms.
Yep.
And so he got married, so he had to kind of give up the football thing, and now we have Scott Dangler has joined our staff last year. He joined our staff, so he's on his second year helping us.
Cool.
So we have some good help here.
How much has the 8-man football game changed since you've started?
Oh, it's changed a little bit. You're seeing more spread offenses than you used to. Instead of just the tight eye formation and some of that, and you're getting some more teams that throw the ball more than they used to. So
it's not like Mike Spears at Howells.
No,
he says, you know what we're going to do. We're going to run that sweep, and we're going to cut back, and you try to stop it or flip
exactly.
the I know.
And that's kind of like Dean Phillippe at Exeter Milligan. They're going to run their sweeps and they're going to run their ISOs, and and I tell people like that. Teams like Howells and teams like Exeter Milligan, they're the easiest team to prepare for, but they're the hardest to stop.
I know.
So when you can't stop an ISO and you can't stop a sweep, man, it's just like.
But you have to have the athletes.
Yes,
and
you got to have some guys that want to play defense and want to hit.
Yeah, I know. Well, this brings up to the next question. How do you get the people? You have pretty good numbers here always, it seems like, out for football. You can't control that oftentimes except for participation. What does it look like in the lower grades right now for Giltner?
Well, actually, this year we have 20 guys out, which is the lowest we've had since I've been here. And
it seems so.
And less kids are playing football these days than they used to, and just other things that they want to do and just not interested. But that year that I think we were just talking about this the other day, the year that we were state champions, I think there was only 4 boys in the whole high school who didn't play football.
That's amazing.
And that's changed a little bit since then. So it's getting more difficult to get kids out and to participate.
Well, I think it'd be worth Zach's time, my time, and your time to get down on our hands and knees and pray that these people can see the light for high school football participation. Because it's just a thing that's happening. I'm going to ask you something, and this, I'm going to pry a little bit. You had a son, Cole, I believe, and terrific athlete, I thought. He went to Aurora. How hard was that not to persuade him to come play for his dad?
I don't know if we could have got along if he played for me.
I mean, that was. You had to, or did you ever want to coach your son? Or some guys don't. Seriously.
It was one of those things. I'm the type of person, I leave it up to him.
Yep.
We had talked about it years before us, but if he was going to do it, he was going to have to come here
Yeah,
as a freshman
from the get-go.
From the get-go,
Yeah.
not just his senior year. But Randy Hubert's a great football
Oh,
coach, and they had
goodness.
a great program at Aurora. And when you grow up with your friends, you want to stay with your friends and stuff. So just to transfer to play sport, to play for your dad, And the most difficult part was not being able to see him play.
I know.
Other than on film, you didn't get the Friday night parents
I know.
thing and sitting up in the stands and watching him play. When we had a bye, I got to watch him play, and then our playoffs were on different days.
That's the time I would see you there.
Yeah.
And I thought, I wonder how much that hurts. But here's a guy that's so dedicated to the game that if he had a son, he would understand.
Yeah, and he knows. I think he's going to go into coaching. I'm pretty sure.
Cool.
So we sat down and talked, and he had a chance to go, play football at Dome College or go to the university and be a student manager.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, if you're going to get into coaching, you need to go be a student manager.
Yeah.
So you can learn, organization and how different coaches coach and the ins and outs of coaching and get that networking started and work your way up.
That's very good advice. So finally, what's Jeff Ashby's future plans? You plan on coaching until you're 90 years old? I hope you do. I hope you do, Coach.
My future plans are to keep on coaching, until they fire me, I guess. So
Well, you're a young guy, though. I'm talking to Carl Desmer. He's a year older than me. So you've got a lot of good years left. Ever thought about being a college coach?
maybe down the road. A long time ago I did, and then that's kind of went by the wayside.
Carl said the same, and Gene Walkenfuss, of course, was over in Polkordville, and he coaches college ball, or didn't he?
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
I mean,
he did
guys,
that.
some guys want to do it, and some guys want to continue to help high school kids develop into great football players, good athletes, and young men. So.
Right, and then that college thing, that's kind of a young man's
Oh,
game anymore,
boy.
and you're giving up a lot of family time and stuff that those coaches have to spend at the stadium. So you think about that and what they're giving up just to coach the college game, and it's good money, but you're giving up something for that money.
You're going to make that money. You're going to have pressure on you all the
You're
time.
gonna have pressure. And,
So I hope you have another son or daughter left. But do you have an empty nest now at home, or not?
I have a daughter left at home, and
She's going to be a terrific athlete. I just know it.
yeah, I don't know about that, but
We'll be looking for
the
it.
genetics aren't real good for that. So I
Well,
don't
what
know.
the heck. I'll tell you what, Coach, it's been a real pleasure, and I wish you the best of luck. I don't think you need it. I will ask you if you're pretty healthy. You told me before you had an injury, but ask you about your current team. Everything looks good going on all the way to the end.
Yeah, we're looking pretty good right now. We have one ankle injury, but nothing too serious. And
Well, this time of year, that's pretty good, really.
That's pretty good, So if we can keep it that way, we'll be fine.
Good. Well, we wish you the best of luck down the line. Usually deep into the playoffs. It's tradition here at Giltner, so I want to thank you for this opportunity, man. One of the best in the business right here, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, this has been Bobby Mills with Coach Jeff Ashby. We'll see you next time on End Zone Online on theindependent.com.